Salute you all. Thanks for listening and thanks for watching. So basically today we are under constitutional history. But before, I beg you to subscribe to the channel, and also where you feel that the area is not well versed, please put it in the comment section so that we can answer it, so that we can understand each other. So today we are under constitutional history, and basically today we are going to look in the orders in council. However, there are many orders in council, and each protectorate got orders in council. It was like the protectorate rules from Her Majesty. But however, we shall look at 1902 order in council and 1920 order in council. Though in between there was the Native Authority Ordinance of 1919, we shall also toss on it so that we can understand very well. So basically, we shall start with the 1902 order in council. Basically, here what you have to know, or what you have to emphasize, or what you have to point is that the order in council, it was the power that was granted by Her Majesty under the foreign territories or under the colonies. It was the Her Majesty's power from UK to Howard colonies, basically. So order in council, it was like the rule that was imposed in the colonies of what? Her Majesty. And when you mitigate and you go further, realize that this rule was imposed. Understand? When you relate to at the 1900 Uganda Agreement, basically there is the Article 6 that says that the Kabaka could be recognized as the native ruler once he abide by the protectorate rules. So the order in council were like the protectorate rules. They were imposed, and the Kabaka had to abide because he had signed the agreement, the 1900 Uganda Agreement, basically. So we are going to look at some of the sections, what the orders in councils were all about. Basically, that's what we are going to look at, or that's what we are going to emphasize. That although when you read further, realize that these orders in council, they had an impact to constitutionalism in Uganda. But nevertheless, we shall look at it in another series. But today we are understanding what was it all about. But it has a great impact on constitutionalism, even up to date, as we shall see in the later discussions that we shall engage together, basically. Not that in what? In mind, basically. So we shall start with section 1 of the 1901, the 1902 order in what? In council. Yeah, so realize that section 1 talks about the boundaries, the territorial boundaries and provincial divisions, basically. Section 1 mandated that there will be provincial divisions or territorial boundaries, and the regions were divided into 5 provinces, basically. We had the central province. The central province was categorized of the districts of Elgon, Karamoja, Busoga, and Bukedli and Leba. You get? So when you go further, realize that that was the central region. Then when you go to the Rundolph province, right, it had districts of Takwel, Tokana, and Dabosa. That is the Rundolph province. Then when you go to the Nile province for it had districts like Dodinga, Ba, and Sukuli. You get? Then when you go to the Western province for it had areas like Bunyoro, Ankole, and Toro. Then finally we had the kingdom of what? Of Uganda and the islands. That were to deal with section 1 of the 1902 order in council. Then when you go to section 4 to 5 of the 1902 order in council, for it formulated the office of the commissioner, which shall be assisted by the deputy commissioner. The commissioner was the head of the protectorate and was the chairman of all activities in the protectorate. So basically, not that in mind. Then when you go to section 7, basically for it simply, it provided crown land. Crown land was to be given under the control of the commissioner. The commissioner was the owner of the crown lands. Remember, under Article 15 of the 1900 Uganda Agreement mandated for the distribution of what? The distribution of land. and land was divided into two. That is the crown land and the Maido land. So basically here the Maido land was given to the king or the kingdom, and crown land was given to the protectorate. So this protectorate land, which is the crown land, was to be put under the control of the what? Of the commissioner. However, we shall realize that this crown land was later declared as what? As public land. You get the crown land basically. Then when you go to section 8 to 10 there of the 1902 Order in Council, it mandates or it empowered the commissioner to make laws and to raise revenue. Basically, it was upon the commissioner to make laws that could keep peace, order, and security in the protectorate, and also to raise revenue through the importation of various taxes, and in whichever way, so long as it could raise what? Revenue to the what? To the protectorate. Then when you go to section 15, subsection 1 of the 1902 Order in Council, for it mandated for the judicial power, provided that there should be a judiciary. Basically, it was the High Court. In the Lebanese, by that time, it was called Her Majesty's Court of what? Of Uganda. Basically, it was there to administer justice, basically, to administer justice everywhere. That was like the judicial body by then. That is Article 15, section 15, subsection 1. Then when you go further, realize that we have section 15, subsection 2. Section 15, subsection 2. It is where we find the reception clause. This reception clause, basically, as you hear the word reception, you understand, someone on the, I'll use the word reception, someone on the counter, on the reception, is the one that invites people, welcomes people. So the reception clause was there to ensure that the laws of England are applicable in the protectorate. That was the reception clause. It said that all laws in England were supposed to be what? Applicable in the protectorate, basically. That's why when you read the case of Ara versus Amukeyo, the customary marriage was taken to be unconstitutional because it was against natural justice and the laws of the UK. You get? So, because they had already penetrated through, they had brought their laws into the protectorate already. That is the reception clause. This reception clause, this is where laws of England were administered directly. You get? They came from England and they were applicable. That's why we shall see the 1920 Order in Council coming in. We shall see other laws of the protectorate coming in just because of that reception what? The reception clause. Then when you go to section 20 of the 1902 Order in Council, talks about the repugnance clause. The repugnance clause related to Article 2 of the Constitution of 1995 Constitution of Uganda would say that whatever law that is inconsistent with the Constitution is null and what? And void. So this repugnance clause dealt that any law, any customary law or any native law that was in conformity or was inconsistent with the laws of the protectorate was null and void. Any law, any custom or any native rule that was inconsistent with the laws of the protectorate was null and void. You get? For example, I'll use the case of Ara versus Amukeyo. That is that very case. It provided that the customary marriage was regarded as what? As unconstitutional, basically. So not that in mind, basically. Ara versus Amukeyo, I'll use some of the facts whereby these people were married under customary. But however, the husband stole chicken, stole some hens, but the wife was the witness. Remember, in court, a wife is not compelled to give witness against the husband. But however, the issue was whether their marriage was constitutional. However, the marriage was declared unconstitutional, and the evidence that was brought by the wife was considered, since he wasn't regarded as a wife following the laws of the what? Of the protectorate. Then there is also a good case of Gwaubin Chilimo versus Chisunda. That case of Gwaubin Chilimo, it was also about the repugnance clause, basically. Here they held that the laws, or the laws of, it was in, here they held that the laws that the father has to pay the debts of the son, they regarded it that it was repugnant, it was unconstitutional, basically. Here they held that a child can also carry his own what? His own cross, basically. that is, it was brought under the Turu native laws, basically. For him, they had a saying that the father was the one to pay for the debts of the what? The debts. To pay for the debts of the son. The case of God being Kilimo versus Kisunda, basically here we realize that the son, there is a tax collector that forged and got what? And got money from the son. So this tax collector was arrested and under criminally. But however, the son wanted to proceed under civil, but he didn't have money to proceed. So he decided to put there the father's cattle, you understand, so that he can proceed with the suit, of which the father refused and claimed his cattle back. But however, the natives were saying that the father was liable for the debts of the what? The father. But regardless, the courts held it that it was unconstitutional. It was repugnant. So that's what the repugnancy clause calls for. You get? So basically, note that in mind. You get? Then there's, when you relate to section 20, section 20B of the 1902 Order in Council. For it, actually, it says that courts to do what? We are supposed to resolve disputes, you understand, involving natives. They could administer justice without undue regard to what? To technicalities, basically. So basically, note that in mind. Then when you relate to section 24 to 25, talks that the commissioner had power to order the deportation of any undesirable person in the what? In the protectorate. The commissioner had the power to deport you at any moment, basically. To deport you, whether at any moment he could do what? He could deport you. You get? So put that in what? In mind, basically. Or not that in what? In mind.